Hey, what up, party people? I am Erica. Welcome to Exactly Erica. And I'm here today with the lovely Goody Gabor.
Hello, all.
So today we are reviewing Never Ever Met Season 2, Episode 3. And maybe we'll briefly talk about 1 and 2 since we didn't really go over that. But we're doing all of the things. Episode 3, Whining and Dining. So, all right, you guys, let's get into it.
The ending is tired of pretending. So let them get the best of me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Give me a break. The game is survival. Give me a break. And sing my arrival. I want a happy ending. Tired of.
That is
All
really
right.
cool. Look, I have never seen that before, so
Well,
I've been
thank
blown.
you. I'm still trying to get used to Restream, and it's a little different than StreamYard. I was jamming on StreamYard. Now I'm like, there's different scenes, and how do you click from scene to scene and all of that stuff. So, but let's get into the groove.
So you have
Um,
you have you have artifacts. You you have pictures.
I do have pictures, but before we get into the pictures, let me know overall, I would give this episode like maybe like an 8. Like I really thought this was a good episode, especially like all the reveals at the end. But I actually really liked so far this season, I've liked this episode the best. I would give it an 8 overall. And I am actually really enjoying it, and especially compared to last season. Like last season, I was like, there's an actor, there's an actor, there's an actor. Now I still feel it's some actors this season, but they're doing better acting. I'm enjoying
How
it.
do you think we spot the actors? I think you spot the actors by the people who are there, but they don't want any physical contact with the person they're there with.
Well, a couple of things. Yeah, because to me, I, I'm not so sure. Are you just, well, okay, yeah, so we'll get into it a little bit more. But the reason why I think some of those people, like, I personally thought the first couple episodes, oh, old girl got there. She just not attracted to him. But if you still been acting a fool the first couple episodes and put yes on a piece of paper, now you're an actor. Because we all can see he even know you're not attracted to him and not really feeling him. And so we can get into it more once we get to the episode. But yeah, that's so yeah, I definitely think old girl's an actress. Um, but but anyway, so what are your thoughts of the episode overall?
I like the episode, but again, like I feel like the drama we're seeing is real drama you would see with people who haven't met, and it's awkward and you thought it was good online and then you meet in person and things are off. Um I like it. If I had to rate it, I would give it like a hard 7.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I'm right there with you. And one thing I'm liking about this season is it's a little bit more, I don't remember all the dates and stuff from last season, but to me, it's a little bit more balanced because yeah, if I met somebody online and they lived in another state, I could see not seeing them in person for 5 months, for 8 months, for whatever. So it doesn't seem like everybody is just sort of pretending to be in a relationship, or this is just somebody they've been texting online, but this ain't really a relationship, because why would you go 7 years and not meet the person if they
Correct.
weren't like in prison? So yeah, so I am liking it too. Let's see, let me try to get up some. So we'll just start from the top, and I think we can kind of, because the first couple episodes it was just the meeting and going
Getting
on
to know
first
you.
dates. Yeah, what did you think about the body painting? We'll talk about that
I
later.
felt like that was far too soon. Like, let them get their groove. Granted, we don't know what order it was recorded in,
Right.
and I'm good because I binge watch in order to be able to sit here with you.
Well, thank you.
But I don't like the woman who has the 10-year age gap with the young guy. I don't like I mean, even as a woman, any age on television, and no sex shaming or anything, but I just don't think it's ladylike to have your handprint where her handprint was.
Yeah, she gave very kind of
Bully.
not very, yeah, very aggressive, kind of, I mean, I don't want to be mean, but kind of hood, just crass. You know what I'm saying? I was like, she doesn't have,
She needs polish.
yeah, she doesn't have any class to
She
herself.
said she's
And
49, and to be 49 and need that much polish, she need a lot of polish.
thank you, thank you. To be 49 and think that a handprint on somebody's front and back parts is like
When they were
acceptable.
kind of hinting to you, ask me first.
Exactly. So I don't know if she's just straight playing a role or not, but yeah, she's a little bit over the top with it, and I want her to draw it in. And then the guy, he was he on Ready to Love Dallas, or he was on something, another own show.
I thought he looked familiar.
So we'll have to figure it out by next week, because I think Kamisha has done the whole rundown on those particular two. So I have to catch up on that. But yeah, he looks familiar. And so it's something, the dynamic between them, they're borderline acting, I would say. Like,
I think they're borderline acting as well. And I think while I like the idea of what they're presenting, because we are now in this age where, like Tracy Ellis Ross said, older women are not really trying to date men in our age group because those men carry you know what Tracy Ellis Ross been getting dragged up and down the internet for saying, right? I've heard that before. Not my cup of tea personally, but it would have been that dynamic would be really good to catch. If it's a real dynamic, it would really be good to catch it and see it and realize it and like weigh it. Like, is this something I'd be interested in getting involved in?
yeah,
So
I agree. And so I'm not, so we'll see where they go with it, but it's not, that's one of the couples who, something
it don't
about,
seem
they seem too extra. Like, it's something with it where I get like, you're pushing it, like you're trying to be funny, you're trying to be this, you're trying to portray something, as opposed to just
just
keeping it
being.
real with your relationship.
And then, so the question what we're trying to determine or what we're trying to sleuth is, are you just awkward in front of the camera? Because I can't imagine that's easy. Or are you fake as hell?
Yeah, yeah. And I think, oh, I don't know, I don't know about Chris, I think his name is, but Alexis, she's not awkward, she's, I don't want to, I hate to say it, she's obnoxious a little
She's
bit to me.
brash. Well,
Yeah, so to me, I'm like,
do we
it's
have
not,
pictures of these people? Like,
hold on, let me get here. Okay, so, well, all right, these are the photos that I have from this episode anyway. Oh wait, hold on, I take that back. I do have, let me pull up my peoples. Let's see.
and mind you, I love what the host is giving. Like, she's just bringing real girl realness. I like her little style. Like, that's how my friends would style themselves with the hats and such.
Yeah, I like her. So, all right. So we'll get to popping on this episode, and we'll start with this couple here, because this is Alicia and Irvin. They've been dating for 5 months. Now, this is the one I think they're straight cold at. Well, I think she's acting. I think I respect him in that, um the episode before this, they sort of had this blowout because she was like, "Oh, I don't feel safe." And like, I feel like she's stone cold gaslighting him when she's just not
Yes.
interested. And
Yes.
I think he's well aware of it, but he is actually, I think, handling it pretty cool. Like, he's like, okay, I can see she don't really like me like that. And you know what I'm saying? So I would think that they would be maybe the first couple to go home. But in this, the beginning of this episode, she kind of calls him back up to her room to kind of talk it out. And they kind of talk it out, but I don't know. Maybe she's too deep
What
for
I
me,
got
because I'm
from
like, she
him,
says a lot of nothing. I'm like, what are you saying, girl?
he does say a lot of nothing. So Alicia and Irvin. So the thing about Alicia is, again, in real world, real time, there are women, autoimmune diseases, stress triggers it. So yes, come out, say that, right? But even in the other episode, or was it, no, it was the last episode where she tried to go in and don't cook that with butter, and
Girl, I was like, okay, you need to wait till it's your turn to cook. Like, I just was like, you're doing a lot. And then to make it seem like, oh, he's getting loud with a woman.
so then
No,
and then
you're
she
being
went, she
demanding.
tried for a man that you don't it doesn't seem that she sees it for him, right?
Right.
For a man you
Right.
don't see it for, you try. If he was a different type of dude, and if he wasn't already to the point where he wasn't really feeling her, because he was like, she talks to people in a certain kind of way anyway. So he
Right.
was very relaxed. He didn't approach the guy like, yo, you yelling at my lady. He was just like, oh, no, don't worry about it. But the proper thing to do would have been to go in there and say, hey, I do have dietary restrictions. Are you able to cook around that? Or should I come in there and is there room for me to come in here and like kind of cook my small portion of what I eat differently? They would have had a different approach to her than get out the
Exactly.
kitchen.
Exactly. And I think at first she made one comment and then she kind of went crazy with it. And I was like, okay, now you're doing too much. Cause then it's like, well, no, don't use butter, use oil. No, add this, don't add that. And I'm like, okay, girl, it's not your turn to cook. You need to slow your roll. And I think Ty had a point, like, we're not cooking for just you, boo. We cooking for 14
We're cooking
people.
for the house.
So,
So
get a salad, order Uber Eats, like do what you got to do. And I liked the way he handled it because she came back to him almost like,
trying
oh,
to incite a
protect me,
riot.
knowing she don't like him. And I'm like,
Right.
girl, so now he's supposed to go down and fight for you and you didn't even want to dance with him with a little Haitian dance and stuff. Like, girl,
So
she's,
one, Brandon is also giving me Haitian, by the way. Brandon looks Haitian to me as well,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
you know the features.
Yes, I
Um,
do.
but let's step back. She was doing yoga with Brandon. Is that what
Yeah,
incited, what really had him like hot? Like, I wanted to do yoga with you. You said no. You were uncomfortable. She even said, I'm uncomfortable and I just want to ease into my day. So if I
right.
walk into the room and
But now you're doing some, girl.
you doing the yoga with somebody who I already peeped, he's not really going to be feeling his little situation. So almost a free man in the house, I have a problem with it, especially because you're hitting me with the Heisman at every turn.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with that.
So in this
Um,
scene, even the body language, he's basically like, I'm good, you good. I'm good. I'm good, yeah. Just say how you feel and I'll say how I feel and we'll try better. But I think he's already kind of tapped out.
yeah, I think he realizes, like, as we all do, she just ain't that into you. And I think he's playing it cool. And so that's why I feel like she's more the actress than he is, because he's kind of like, okay, she talks to people crazy, she's not very affectionate, she's not, I don't know what she was doing on the phone calls, but because I'm kind of like,
He said that they had friction they had a couple of experiences and they've only been dating for 5 months. So they've had
right.
already had a couple of experiences where they were having like bad engagement.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I feel like she's not attracted to him, to be
Right.
honest.
I don't get that she's
So,
attracted to him. Which is
but she
funny
wants to be on the
because
show because it's like,
her
okay, girl, just
intro
pack your bags.
in her intro, and she looks fabulous in her confessional, by the way. But in her intro, she was like, because I'm tired of being a girlfriend, I don't want to be a girlfriend anymore. But you're not acting like the type of woman, like, I get being a lady and saying, hey, I don't want to cuddle with you, it's too soon. I don't want to, dance at compo with him that wasn't extra. That touch wasn't so volatile. You do the salsa merengue. If it was a salsa, you would have done that. And usually, when people do a dancing situation, this is an opportunity for the man to show, hey, I can lead.
Right, right. And I think, and it's not just that everything is moving quickly. I don't know if it's something about the way her face or something. It's something about her that
He's put
gives,
off.
I don't like you. I'm not attracted to
Right.
you. Don't to
She's not
me when
acting like
she's kind of like, we cool, just don't touch me. That's how she is
that.
every episode, every scene with him. She's like,
Right.
just
Kind of
just don't touch me and we straight.
And again, I would get, don't touch me like that. Don't try for too much intimacy with me because, women who set out to be a wife, they have these, like, this
Right,
is
but you
something
still have
I'm
to like
observing.
flirt and engage the
Right.
person, and she's not doing any of that.
She
She's
must
doing
not be.
everything she can to shut him down at every opportunity. And it's like, okay, like maybe she gave him a hug, I think, at the end of this, but I think he realizes, and rightfully so, that she's at this point she's not feeling it. But maybe he can bring it around. I hope for you, Irvin, because I feel like she's going to hang on to the very end because she wants this screen time. And I will say I agree with you. I think she looks great in every scene that she's in. She always looks cute. She's well dressed. Her makeup is right. Her wigs, her weaves, whatever she got going on. She always looks good. So I give her that. She looks great, but she's coming off a little cold. And to me, I feel like even though she shared her autoimmune issues,
She's weaponizing it instead of, I don't see that
she's gaslighting him point blank, because it's like, girl, we can all see that's not the issue. You know what I'm saying? You saying all this and then you still doing yoga with Brandon. So
right.
so she's a no for
Do you
me so
think he
far.
was one of the no's?
Oh yeah, so we'll get to that at the end.
Mhm.
But yes, I think they were right. I think he is one of the no's. I think he is the no, one of the no's. Out of I think like when they were in the group, guys were group chatting, I think the four men said no. Now here's an issue that I sort of have. Like, I get why we do it for the show, but I don't know if I'm so comfortable with living in a house with all these people that you also don't know, because now I feel like the other people's opinions and stuff just have too much weight, because it's like, I don't know you, why am I coming to you for advice? Like,
I almost feel like it would be better if they had a house big enough for each couple to have their own
yeah,
room,
maybe they get
maybe.
together for the activities or something. Like, I kind of like it more like 90 Day Fiance. Like, we see each couple doing whatever, or maybe, or like Married at First Sight might work, where everyone has their own space and then they come together for their group activities. Because this whole, everybody knows when you go to the boom boom room, everybody knows when you do something, like,
It's very frat. It's frat. It's giving dorm instead of adults getting to know each other. I
I
don't even
agree.
like the idea of just putting me in a room with a bunch of people to sleep.
Right, exactly, exactly. I'm like, we are grown ass people, and then it's because it's always somebody where, because I remember this last season too. It's always one couple where the woman or somebody don't mind being in the bed with the person, and it's two other people, the roommates in there at the same time. It's always somebody who feels like that's okay, which is like, ugh. And yeah, like, we all grown. I need my own space. I'll cut you
But
some slack and
if
share
I'm
a
a grown
bathroom, but
man,
stop it. Yeah.
if I'm a grown man and my chick is not staying in the room, I don't want your chick staying in the room.
Exactly. I think it's
Because
just
if something goes left within the room, I don't want anybody saying that I did something that I did not do.
exactly. I agree. I agree. So the next photo, let's move on to the next one. Okay. So now we gonna get into it. So from the very beginning, after, so this is the end of the last episode, the beginning of episode 3. They're up late drinking, and Kiki gets drunk, and this is her falling out. I don't
Yeah,
even know if Brand is down there anymore.
he doesn't
And
look to be.
so I don't understand. Um, so here's the issue that I have with everybody in the house, because I feel like the women that Kiki is talking to are like, oh yeah, it's okay. No, girl, it's not okay for you to be sloppy drunk. And every scene she's been in, she's been drinking.
You
And
don't
as
you don't know these people.
right, exactly.
And you're getting to know your dude. Talking for 4 years, but you're getting to know your dude. Um, it's unattractive.
Yeah, yeah. And I
And
think
that's
he's
male or female. If you get sloppy drunk, that's friends, mates. If you get sloppy drunk, please keep that in the house. And by in the
right,
house, I mean your house.
right. Or
But the
at
same way she's
least
laid out here, What if her laid out like this is a situation where I'm like, okay, yeah, there are cameras, but as a man who doesn't know her, I'm uncomfortable being in this room with her laid out like that.
Exactly, because it's like now it's almost dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like you said, we all know what can happen when you get drunk and fall out at a frat house. So why would you think that this is okay? And I don't understand why the women who she's talking to are just like, oh yeah, we
Because
totally
they're
see why
not,
you're upset.
you
And
know
it's
why?
like, come
They're
on,
not
because they're
there
not her
for her.
friends. Yeah, they don't
They're
even know
not there
you.
for her. They're there for
Yeah,
to get to know their dude. But this is the thing. What's her name? What's her name? Uh Alexis.
right.
Yeah,
She made
I
a good
got them on my
point.
thing. Alexis says she used to work in nightlife, right? And she understands that that Kiki's a fun girl. I have a couple of issues with fun girl Kiki. One, 4 years. If it seems she also works in nightlife. 4 years of talking to him on the phone. In their very first meeting, he cited an issue with her drinking. So I'm
Right.
thinking over the 4 years, maybe he spoken to her and she was toe down from the flow down, but he never saw it. Right? Maybe she said to him she wants to cut back on drinking. He knows that she has an issue with drinking because first day he tried to pour her a reasonable amount of wine for a meal. And she's like, no, fill me up. What? What? And he was
Right.
like, whoa.
And if I recall, she needed wine or something to drink to get comfortable for the photo shoot. So every scene she's in, she seems to act like she needs alcohol, or that's the way they're showing it,
And then
that
she
she needs the
cited,
alcohol to be
she
comfortable.
also said, well, I want everyone to like me, and everyone likes the fun girl.
Yeah, I
Everyone
agree.
about to be
Yeah.
tired of her ass because some of the women gonna be like, if you standing over her, why you taking care of her? Let her dude take care of her. Why you over there?
Right, exactly. And then even in the very first scene when all the ladies were there and she was like, "Woo, let's pop the bottle." She was the first one to really be like, "Let's drink." And a couple of the women were giving her the side eye in that scene. And that was before the men even got there. So she's steadily fighting and then she says later, and we'll get to it, "I'm a fun drunk." No, you're a drunk that needs to be babysat because now you're falling over. And that's not fun for the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Because
And
now
if you're
somebody,
truly here for
yeah,
me, and I show an indication that it's a problem for me from inception,
right,
what are you doing?
exactly. So the next day, so we're finally moving. Okay, so now we're here with Charlie and Chris,
No, Jared,
and I'm sorry, Jared and Chris. No, I'm sorry, Jared and
Charlie,
Charlie.
and
Jared
yeah,
and Charlie. That's what it is. Sorry. Let me get their photos up so I can get their names right. Let's see. And and so this is a couple that's been, so to me, anybody, the couples that have been dating over a year or two, it is a problem because it's not 90 Day Fiance or Love Actor Lockup. Nobody's locked up. Nobody's in another country. Everybody has a job. So why haven't you met in 4.5 years?
and you went
So,
to, so you're clearly from the same town because you went to the same high school. Maybe not at
right,
the same time,
right,
but the same high school.
right.
So somebody, parents, aunt, uncle, cousin, I got a shorty over there. Let me go check on her, or vice
Exactly.
versa.
So somebody you can stay with in town, right? So
Although they seem like the most level-headed couple and most mature, and of course they have to be mature because there's a lot of kids involved in this.
they're kind of mature except for the lying. So he doesn't tell her that he has a newborn. She doesn't tell him that not only did she just have a baby, which I get that part, I don't understand why she lied about the other in between kids. And
There's that,
so
and there's
that's a
also
big
who leaves
issue.
their child for their 1 month old
Right, right. Who's trying to breast pump
yeah.
in the bathroom so don't nobody know? Like that was ridiculous. And yeah, so to me, I think it was interesting that they both brought out, okay, we're sharing our secrets. Now we're closer than ever, but now you both know that you're dating a liar.
On top of, you're dating a liar. If he had a kid 6 months ago and you had a child a month ago, how real was this online long distance relationship? Is
Right.
click
Someone was honestly point blank lying
both.
while they're in the hospital giving birth, or while they're in
What
the
you say? I had
hospital and a
hemorrhoid
girlfriend.
surgery. What kind of surgery?
Right. And I don't know where when his 6 months ago, I know he had to come up missing a few days, I'm guessing, because his baby was being born.
And then
So
the
he can't
question,
look at you crazy for breast pumping, because I assume his ex or his current or whatever the person is back home, she probably still breastfeeding her baby too. So that is the thing where it's like, so when I say not only do they not reveal, the reason why I say they're liars is because there had to be times where now all of a sudden they popping up missing. They lying about where they at or whatever because the person is giving birth. And so that is something I think for both parties to kind of really think about. Like, why did we lie to each other? But instead, they're like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. And she's like, and I have to go back because I forgot what she does for a living. So she has a 6-bedroom house. And, and he's like, oh, okay. I'm going to see if,
he works at a college.
yeah, he's like, I'm going to see if any colleges can hire me. The lies, the lies. Okay.
But
So,
bigger than that, okay, I had a baby and I had a baby. Are we forgetting about that other person involved? Like
right,
everyone who has good sense won't date someone with a child that's under a certain age. Now, when I had my son, his father and I broke up, and people were like, "Oh, you're going to be back together in 5 years." We were not, but I'm a different kind of person. Like I was
right,
like, this is not what I want, because it would have been like leaving my mom's home. My son's dad is Haitian. It would have been like leaving my mom's home to get married and have a child and a house. It just felt like too much, right?
right,
But generally speaking, most women want their family together. And 6 months, they're not having the discussions that I'd like to see happen on TV. Logistics isn't the only problem, because you're going to move from, he's in North Carolina, right? Wait,
yes,
he's in
Columbia, South Carolina, I
South
believe.
Carolina.
Yeah.
So he's gonna move from South Carolina. You have a 6-month-old child, so you just gonna leave the baby to move in with a chick?
Yeah, and I forgot how old is he has 2 kids. So I don't know how old the other child is. And she told him about the 12-year-old, but she has like
A
I don't know, a
3-year-old.
3-year-old and like someone maybe between 5 and 7, I think. And so the question is, yeah, like where are all these different I mean, you don't have to say all the fathers. I don't know how many fathers you
You know
got,
what? Now
but
that you say that, I don't think there's all the fathers. I think it's the father. It's the one
right.
father.
Exactly.
Those
So
the
it's like
ages are too close.
right. So what is yeah, like exactly. That's what we need to hear about. What's your relationship with that person? And like, I don't know. I mean, I hate to be, I grew up when, HIV was a thing. So why is like, who is this person that you just let
For
hit
her,
raw like 9 months ago?
I'm going
Both of
to.
them. Yeah.
For
It's
her,
like,
I'm definitely thinking, because the ages of the children, 3. I think she said a 4-year. No, she has the 12-year-old he knew about, a 3-year
right.
old, a 4-year old. I think the 3 and 4-year old's dad is the father of the 1 month old.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Okay.
not the 12. She didn't say this, but this is what I'm
Right.
thinking insofar as math.
Okay, well, I hope so, girl, because otherwise, I have some real whole questions for you. Because it's like, what? Why are
But
you? And the same for him, though. It's like, okay, I get that you all are long distance, da da da. Maybe you cheat, maybe you do whatever, but are you all acting as if this was just a one-time thing? Was
it
this,
wasn't. I'm
you
thinking,
know,
at least on her end, I'm not thinking, because she tried to sell it, but she's a liar. We know she's a liar. But
right?
she tried to sell it as, she was like, no one's stupid. I know he's seeing other people. I'm seeing other people. I went on a date with a guy and I'm pregnant.
Right. It's
Ma'am,
like, ma'am, that's disgusting. Okay,
ma'am,
like
you didn't go on
this.
a date with a guy and you're pregnant, because the psychology behind it, right? even though they hadn't met, they probably phoned Jones in and telling each other all these loving words. You're thinking
Right.
to yourself, even if you have real life situations going on, you're not trying to get pregnant in any of the real life situations.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So
So
why is there no plan B? Okay, let's say you slip up, but he is supposed to be your end game. Why wasn't there a plan B? I'm not saying, I'm not saying that you have to go full fledged,
right to the
but
clinic, but you have options. This is not 1950. So this is what I don't understand for
so I'm
both of them,
thinking she
just
thought she was
for
gonna
health.
really.
Yeah.
I'm thinking she thought she was gonna be with the father of her last two kids, and they was gonna try to work it out. I'm making it up, but
And then
don't
a
sound
month
far
ago, he
fetched.
was like, no.
This ain't far fetched.
Oh, so yeah. So these two, I like that they're connecting, but I feel like they're not really talking about what they need to talk about because the lies that they have told each other are deeper than they're actually. Now that they revealed it, they need to look at what was behind it, and they're just not doing that. All right, so we'll move on to the next party people. Okay,
Move
so here,
Charlie and Jared's face.
yes, let me move them back to Kiki. Are you
Yo,
with
his
me?
face is
Okay.
giving all the Haiti. His whole face says "Sakase."
Okay, so here's another thing too, like kind of get down to some of the issues that I have with the show, and that he's going to Chris and Alexis, a couple that I 80% don't even think is real, and asking their opinion. And but that being said, I felt like the advice that they kind of gave him was valid. Go up there and talk to her, blah blah blah. So that was
There are things we're
reasonable.
not seeing, but I think Alexis was a part of his question because Alexis must have stated at some point in time she was in the nightlife. So he knows she's a nightlife girl,
Right,
right? So
right.
that's where he was like, I feel comfortable asking this. Or he just had his wit say, who he gonna tell? They ain't gonna show a picture of him calling the people, calling his family like,
Thank
yo,
you, thank you. Call your family or something because they're like, okay, man, we get that you like big girls, but now you like big drunk girls, and that's a no.
you know what? You
So
remember Real World where they used to have the room where you could go call your family and they
right,
would recall, they would record the conversation you were having with your mom about these crazy people in the house. It's the same
yes.
situation, and a little phone would have gone a long way.
Thank you. They need to phone home because these people in the house don't care about you because they don't know you. But that being said, I do feel like Chris and Alexis gave him very mature, sound advice. And so he goes upstairs to talk to Kiki, who is okay, I don't know if I have a picture. He talks to Kiki like a couple times during this episode, which
Yeah.
is, so we'll really have to get into it with them. So he goes up there to talk to her, and he's like, let's talk on the balcony because
No,
she
no,
is
no. Before he can go to talk to her, he's
she's
prepping
asleep.
for their cooking night,
Oh,
right?
wait. No. This is the first time. So this is the thing. So this is before in the morning, he goes up there and talks to her, and she's still, well, it's not the morning, it's like 2 p.m. or
Well,
something.
wasn't this where she told the other girl, "Yo, I don't feel well.
No,
I'm
no, no,
feeling
no, no,
heavy."
no. This is where she goes on the balcony, and basically, here's okay. So a couple things. I think that this is when he first goes up there after he talks to them. He goes up there, and her butt is still asleep. And I think they show it. It's 2 p.m. She got a thumb in her mouth and everything. And
Yeah,
so
that's
he's like,
her. Like
he,
that.
but she fell out the night before. So it makes total sense that to me, she is clearly hungover. So he's like, well, let's talk on the balcony. And so she goes to the balcony. He's like, I didn't like what happened last night. And she's like, now he asked her specifically, this is this part right before this. He asked her specifically, has anyone else told you it's a problem? Her answer, and I don't know if they cut it, but her answer was, well, I used to have this friend, and anytime we were upset or something, we would just drink a bottle together,
Oh yeah, we
which
drink a bottle of wine.
or whatever. And to me, that doesn't even respond to the question that he asked. So I
Yeah,
don't know
that
if it
had to
was
be a raw
the way
cut.
they
But
cut it, because I was like, well, she didn't answer the question, because he asked you if this if anyone else had noticed or said anything to you about it being a problem, and your response is to give him an example of what sounds like it is a problem. So then she's kind of like, so this is in the beginning where she says, well, I'm not going to drink today. So this is the earlier in the day, but the afternoon. And so then to kind of like, so at this point he's not mad. So at this
he's put
point
off.
he's put off, but she says, I'm not going to drink today. I don't have a problem. He's like, well, I got to ask because you're acting like a alcoholic. But if you say you good, we good. And so this is right when she says, I'm hungry. And he's like, well, let's feed you. Okay, Brandon, are you a feeder? Like, what is going on here? So I did not like that scene very much, but he gives her a hug. And this is, so they kind of
But
come
can we
back.
rewind on this couple? Um, didn't she come in the house saying she wasn't looking for anything serious?
Is that what she said? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
when he was opening the bottle, like this reminds me that she's the first person to pop a bottle, and she was like, "I'm not looking for anything serious," and
I
they were kind of looking at her like, "What?"
okay, I don't, well, maybe so. I don't recall that part, but that makes sense. And I do remember her saying that the reason for them not meeting was because she was worried about her body, or she was upset about her size or whatever, and she was worried what he would think. And I thought that that was valid. And so I need that Tyra Banks meme. Like, we were all rooting for you. Like, I was rooting for them in the beginning, and now I'm like, girl, you're
You
doing a lot.
messy.
Yeah, I feel like she might have she has some deeper issues that she needs to work through. And I think he's trying to be supportive, but like, come on, like, you're turning into a sloppy drunk. So
And this is embarrassing. Like if I'm here to represent you and you're here to represent me,
yeah,
granted
this
we
is
don't know each other, I'm letting you know this is
yeah.
problematic.
Yeah, and he's already told you like twice. So here she says, to pacify him, I believe, okay, I'm not going to drink today. I'm not an alcoholic. So then the next thing we go to is, so then today's activity is the Kama Sutra. And I am with you. I think that even though they all have their clothes on and stuff, I think that some of these games are too much too soon. I was like, can we all go roller skating or something? Like, why do we need to do
Yeah, like why is it straight out the
or
gate?
right, we can do a group yoga class. I mean, there's things we could do where we could kind of be, stand in
You
a
know
circle
what?
and
What
fall back or
about
something, but I don't know.
what
I
about
was not like
playing
this.
the end? You know that get card game where you're getting to know people? What okay, so my reality TV history or watching, right? Couples therapy. I think it's couples therapy where I
Mhm.
know the one where Mendices and Yandy were on it.
Oh, okay. I did not watch that show, but I know what you're talking about.
W-
Couples rehab or boot
Yeah,
camp
couples
or
rehab,
something.
but they take a moment and it's the couple and they're having a conversation, right? What if they had a setup like that? You see me trying to produce. What if they had a setup like that and one of those getting to know you card games? Why we got to
Right.
get to know each other's body parts before we ask questions of each other? That would add layers to the show. Let's ask questions from each
Right. I
other.
agree with you. I think if we had at least the first game they have or something, there are a lot of there are a lot of games where you're teams and you ask these personal questions, or even if they do that drinking game where it's like, where you say two
Truth or
three,
sip.
yeah, or two things and a lie, two truths and a lie, or whatever. Like, there's a
Some
lot of different games where you could say kind of crazy what you stuff about yourself that might be revealing and fun and engaging to watch, and you don't have to physically be up on a person. So in this scene, so this is kind of like almost to the end, because originally um Tatiana and oh boy,
they were
okay,
winning.
they were
Tatiana
winning.
and Cliff. That's what she calls him, right? Cliff.
Clay, I think.
Clay.
Yeah,
Cliff.
Clay. Clavice, yeah. So
Yeah, Clay.
I'll call him Clay. And the thing with them, and I'll show this in the next picture, is he is just like getting freaky with her and rubbing on her behind.
But this
And
speaks
I,
to what you said about being in this group setting, makes it so that you're trying to impress the people in the group instead of really just trying to get to know this person you're supposed to be there with, because
yes,
that he's showing out and it made her uncomfortable.
exactly. Exactly. It made her uncomfortable and she just kind of went along with it and he's kissing her and she says later in the episode that she thinks he's performing, but I think definitely here with the Kama Sutra stuff, he is performing. And then we see, like, I'll go back to the last picture. So this is Alexis and Chris, I think his name is. Yeah,
Mhm.
Alexis and Chris. And then come on, let's switch it. Alexis and Chris, and then Ty and what's the girl with Ty's name?
Brittany.
Brittany. Yeah. So Ty and Brittany end up winning because Alexis and Chris, like, again, another scene where they seem like they're performing.
Well, not only do they seem like they're performing, this is another opportunity where he had the chance to lead. And instead of just staying where she was, because he had a good grip on her,
Right.
she decided to add a move
She
to it.
just she decided to bust a move and almost bust her head. Okay. So it's like,
And then
Alexis,
it's like, yo, you
girl,
ripping my shirt. I ain't pack all them shirts for you to be ripping this one that I have. What you
thank
doing?
you, girl. You should be grateful and thankful he was able to hold you up
Right. That's the
steady.
impressive part.
Because that was looking like, I was like, how's that gonna work? But it was working until you tried to do just doing too
And
much.
just for the record, this
So
wouldn't have
Ty
worked for
and
me.
Brittany win this challenge. And I think they started off with Irvin and Alicia or whatever. And she just was like, back back up. And I was like, girl, just
Just ish. But this is the thing for me. If this were me, I am not a big person by any stretch of the imagination. I just think I'm bigger than I am. And I do not trust anyone to pick me up. I don't care how big you are. Do not try to pick me up. My feet belong on the ground, sir. Put me down, sir.
I know. I'm like, let's
Put
do
me
reverse.
down.
Let's do reverse cowgirl. I know that one. So
Yes.
yeah, let's do a position
Put
that
me
I am
down, sir.
comfortable in.
They would have been like, oh, she acting to ask. I'll be like, no, 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 no.
I
No, no,
know.
no,
It's
no,
like,
no.
yeah, I don't need to win the massage. So all right. So we're done with
She did.
this one.
She ain't have to win. Brittany, no, Tatiana ain't need to win a massage. He was giving her all the massage.
Yes. So after this, Alicia and Irvin decide, let me pull them up. Decide they're gonna go to like therapy, which they do need, but I still felt like there was a little bit of gaslighting going on, but they seem to come to an understanding, and she kind of, I feel like, put it all off on her disease, and this is
Autoimmune.
how she reacts, and da 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 da. And I don't know, like I think the therapist kind of encouraged
Pacified her.
that. Yeah. And I just was like, girl, you don't like him, but okay.
Not only that, but he knows, you know, and he knows. And the thing, he's in a space where he's like, yo, what the hell's going on? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because, like, for a woman to be like, well, now I don't feel safe. And you know what? I am a woman. I am team woman, go woman. But we can't weaponize certain phrases.
Exactly, because it's like saying you don't feel safe is the same way if he told you,
And he did the
you're
right
acting
thing.
aggressive. So it's like, come
He
on.
did the right thing. When he walked, she's like, well, why are you walking away? Oh, no, you're not going to be on camera telling people you don't feel safe with me.
Right.
And I know I'm hot. I know I'm hot because something's out of alignment here. You're saying this, but you're doing this, and I'm not feeling any of it. So she's gaslighting him for sure. Everything can't be because of your autoimmune disease, because some of the things you're doing is causing stress.
Right. Right. Exactly. So the therapist, she tried to kind of bring them to a middle ground, and I guess they did come to some sort of consensus at the end of the therapy session. But it's like, come on, we all know the truth. But okay, maybe maybe he can pull it out and she'll start
And
to like him,
I
but
don't
not so far.
their body language, like she's completely closed off. He's open
Yeah.
to hearing what's going on, but he's pondering WTF. Like he's
Yeah.
like, I would like to be here with the woman that I would like to be here with. He's thinking about it and she's closed off to it. Just in
Yeah.
the way they're sitting.
Yeah. She's like, okay, what can I do? She reminds me of the girl on Married First Sight a few seasons ago. I think her name was Amanda or whatever. Like she did not like the guy from the day one when she first saw him come down the aisle, but she wanted to be on the
I remember
show.
this.
She wanted to be on the show. She wanted to hang out. She wanted to be in the apartment. She wanted to do all of the things that Married of
Everything
Sight,
that
but be married. And that's what she's giving. She's like, okay, I'm not ready for whatever reason. I feel like she's not ready to go home, but she knows she don't like him. So that's the part that's giving actress or exposure. Because I'm like, well, you know, you don't seem like you're not showing him any grace for whatever issues you feel that he's doing.
and we talk
And yeah,
about acting careers launching from these reality TV shows. I would not want my acting career to launch from season 2 of Never Ever Met. Perhaps when they get, season 5 and they're more seasoned and you know, because they did figure out this season as opposed to the first one, right? But
right.
I wouldn't want my acting debut like, okay, now I'm Denzel Washington, but when they're doing my history, it's not, like the art actors now, you'd be like, oh, I didn't even know that was Alicia Keys in The Cosby Show. And I didn't even know that was him in the Cheerios commercial. I didn't even know that was her pretending to like the guy and not doing a good job of pretend. Not only are you pretending to like him, you're not doing a good job. Your acting sucks here.
Thank you. Exactly. About girl, go back to your coach. That's all I
Go
got
back
to
to the coach.
say. Y'all are in Los Angeles. Get some coaching in between scenes because yeah, you don't seem
You're not
like
delivering. You're bringing the
yeah,
look, but you're not delivering.
exactly. So I say you should, make it easy on all of us and pack your bags, but we'll give you more time.
There's so many times with so many of them that I wanted them to be like, that's it, I'm out.
Right, I know, right?
It was nice
Very
knowing
true.
all of y'all. And I
Right.
think, if you want to
Deuces.
start your acting career, do a monologue and leave and wait for your
Right.
acting coach to call. We'll wait for the agent to call you.
Exactly.
It's rolling in.
Exactly, because right now you're doing non-speaking parts because your actual acting it's not coming through. So but they meet with a therapist and then the next couple, let's see. Oh, okay. So,
Child,
girl, Tatiana. Okay, so let me pull them up.
I think she's
Tatiana.
cute. I like Tatiana.
I like Tatiana. I agree with her. I think that Clay is over, like, I don't know if he's doing it because he really likes her or if he's just an actor, but he's
He's
overselling
doing it
it.
because he's over extending because he knows he's under providing the truth.
Right.
Right?
So right before this, he tells Jared, basically, like Jared, he too has a secret baby he didn't tell about.
That
So
would
why
have been
all
the
these
perfect
people
time
right.
to say that, to pull her aside and be like, you know what? I too can't be in this house. Again, to their credit, what's their name? Charlie and Jared. That's how you do it. Be like, look, dude, I don't even want to be in this house another day without telling you the truth. It's a hard truth, but here we go.
Right. That would have been the time.
You telling
So
other people you got me looking stupid.
right. That would have been the time. That would have been the first time. Now he tells Jared, and Jared is like, it's going to be hard, but you're going to have to do it. Now, I don't know how they filmed it because they made it seem like she was kind of far away. But the way she walked up, like,
Yeah,
well, I
like
heard
she
you
was
say
right behind them.
blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, well, then you heard the rest of it, right? So I'm not sure if she heard. I feel like she heard it, but she's saying, she's playing here like she didn't to give him a chance, I guess. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I should tell you I love you, which just looked lame and crazy. Like,
So if she's like, he's performing, she's right. He's
yeah,
lying.
yeah. he's stone cold lying to
And
you, and
not for
yeah,
nothing, he's not fit enough to be trying to sell these lies without a shirt on.
wait a minute. Wait, I gotta get my sound effects ready, girl, because you ain't never lied.
Like, no, if you gonna come to me with the bullshit, please be fine. Make it a
Yep,
reason why I'm here.
exactly. Whoop, there it is,
Yeah, like,
girl. You ain't never lied. I was like, dude, you and her are wearing need to be wearing the same sports bra. So you need to just go ahead and tell her about the kids that you have. Come clean.
yeah, like,
Um, so
and how old is his child? Also months old, seven
yeah,
months or
months
something
old.
like that.
Yeah, definitely less than a year. So it's like, okay, and they've only been dating 8 months. So I don't see why. Now that is different, because if they've only been dating 8 months, then the girl either just had the baby when they first got
Well,
together,
you see, the way he
or
told this story, the girl left him.
right, and then she came back to his
He said,
house or
and she
something,
came back, but she was pregnant.
right,
And he
eh,
was like, is it my child or not? And
right,
that's the story I think you can tell. And then when the question becomes, well, is she trying to make the family work? The family was already not working. That's why she left my ass.
right. And I guess the question I have is, I get why you might feel nervous now, but in the beginning, like when this happened, you couldn't have been dating her that long. Unlike Jared and Charlie, they had been together for years, but you've only been with her 8 months. So either the baby was just born when you started talking to Tatiana, or the girl was pregnant when you started talking to Tatiana. So to me, I feel like something could have been said
Right. But
early
when, I
on.
mean, if we like, but this is how you play that, right? As
Yeah,
soon
but
as
I
they
mean,
tell the truth, Tatiana, I need to speak to you. What do you need to
yeah,
say?
yeah,
I was in a relationship. We broke up. And right before I got on the plane, I got the news that I am a father of a 7 month. Because you're lying already.
right,
I
exactly,
just found out. That's how you tell that lie. But you don't tell that lie. You don't tell Jared you're lying. He don't know you. And he don't Jared was like, he kind of don't give a fuck.
right, exactly. And and it's like, okay, well, all right, well, I'm gonna I'm gonna go see if I can smash Charlie, but you guys chat this out. So to me, when she came and said, I heard you say something, heard you're waiting to tell me something, again, he had the opportunity to come clean and chose to double down and continue to
And
lie.
my problem with that is because the other couple already revealed that, this is just going to look piss poor, bad, terrible when he tells her.
Right, exactly. It's just going to look really trifling, especially if she overheard you saying there's something you want to tell her you don't feel comfortable telling. And that was your chance to cut the cord right here. Like, she's asking you point blank what is going on, and you're choosing to lie here, which is a character issue. So, she's going to have to let, Big Titty Clay go if he continues to lie. I'm just going to say.
Essentially, like, you just a liar, fat boy. You're not
Exactly.
fit enough
Exactly.
to.
Exactly.
If you want to
Pillsbury
tell me
Doughboy, you
lies,
need to do better, okay?
if you want to tell me lies, when we on
Thank you.
TV, make me look good and be like, well, I understand why she couldn't leave him.
Thank
You
you. And
fine.
she's exactly. She's already fit and cute. So, all right. So here is the dinner. But before
Well,
we do
before
the
we, yeah, I
dinner,
was about to say,
yeah, before
let's.
we get to the dinner, let me put up let's see. Put up the other couple. Here we go. All right. So, before we actually have the dinner, um tonight is Kiki and Brandon's turn to cook. So in the beginning, when Kiki is like supposed to be doing the pasta, she's asking the ladies, well, can you put my pasta in the bowl? Then when you take it out, put it in the freezer, which I'm not clear how the pasta is relating to the hibachi, just to say, but okay. So she tells the girl, and they're like, okay, she's not feeling well. And she goes upstairs to lay down. And then Brandy comes in there to cook or whatever, and they go and they're like, oh no, I want to say Brittany goes upstairs to check on Kiki, and she's like, no, I'm not feeling well. She's like, well, do you want me to get Brandon? Like, I don't know, is Brandon a doctor? But whatever. So she goes to get Brandon.
Basically, it's this ain't my problem. I ain't here for
Right.
you. I'm here
Right.
for
Thank
who
you.
I'm here
I'm
for.
trying to meet my man, and
And I'm not here to pull no girl's hair behind her back as she threw. I mean, behind her head
right.
and
I'm
she
like,
threw up.
and honestly, I'm 50-50. I'm like, are you still hungover or are you just lazy?
I
That's my
feel like
first question.
I feel like she has to be still hungover because if you was passed out like that, if you want teacher
Yeah.
sucking your thumb, if you slept on the couch last night, you hung over
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So he
So
comes up there and
you can't judge me because again, I'm 50, right?
thank you.
What I could do in my 20s as it related to drinking and getting up the next day, popping up the next day and going and do the job at 3 o'clock. If I have like 3 drinks on Monday, Wednesday, I'm still like, oh God, I was drinking
Right,
that
exactly,
drink.
exactly. As they say, we listen and we don't judge.
Right.
Okay, so we're not judging her, but I guess to me, her defensiveness. So Brandon comes up there and she's like, "Oh, I'm not feeling well. I'm overheated or whatever," and which to me straight up sounds like you're hungover. Like we've all been hungover before. So when he's like, "Do you think it's from what you drank last night?" She gets like mad and defensive, and it's like, "Girl, you've been hungover since earlier in the afternoon." And then she's at one point she's like, "Well, I haven't even drunk today." Yeah, that's what happens when you're hungover.
Because you
Sometimes
slept
drinking more
all
alcohol
day.
makes you feel better. That's I mean, to be honest, that's how real alcohols behave, because the addiction, they need the alcohol to not have that sort of hungover withdrawal feeling.
Withdrawal.
So then they drink beer or they drink wine or something to kind of get over, to kind of smooth it over. So they're not, like you said, head over the toilet the whole time. So he's like, okay, I'll go down here and cook. So he goes
But what
down
makes
there.
it worse is the night before, Brittany and Ty look so cute cooking together. They look like synchronized dancers, so to speak, right? Even when
Right.
he was like, "Get the fuck out of my kitchen," she was like, "Okay, babe, you gotta remember that's somebody's chick
That's
you
a
fuck."
woman. That's, yeah, don't get people fighting up
But
in here.
it didn't get crazy. It just was like chopping together, washing. You got the salt over there, boo? Yeah, I
Right.
got the salt. We'll put the salt in this. So to follow that up with this one man show that he has to put on, one man show, and the stage hands are coming in. Because if it's
Thank
not
you.
my night to cook, I'm not cooking.
Right. And the other people showed pity on him and they came and they helped him. And I think what really made it trifling was when they're all in there, they're chopping up. First of all, I think no one really brought to her or said to her, "Girl, he don't even eat hibachi. He made this meal because you said it's your favorite meal. And now you too lazy or too hungover or too whatever, drink some coffee and some water. But you two, whatever you got going on, to come down there and cook. And now you're going to go sit at the pool." And then this is another time where I feel like the outside people are trifling, because when Brittany was like, "No, you don't have to go in there. It's okay. Stay out here." Girl, you was in there cooking when your man was cooking. Why would you encourage her to have him in there cooking for 14 people, a meal that she likes?
But she knew
And
that she just barked on him. She probably told Brittany, "Yo, I just barked on him. He up there, he nagging me about the drinking." So Brittany was probably like, "You know what? I'm not here for drama. So why don't you and this dude, you stay here by the pool?" But you shouldn't have had to ask anybody because you watched Brittany and Ty cook the night before.
right. Or you should have stayed your butt upstairs. But to be sitting, chilling at the pool and he's in there cooking, like, girl, I would have been like, deuces to you too. That's trifling. And then,
Hand on the
you,
table. I'm not doing this.
right.
Monologue. Go
Yes,
home.
yes, yes,
Agents call.
exactly, exactly. Be like, I don't know where Brandon's from, but there's plenty of big girls in that town who won't do him like this, who are willing to cook with him. Okay, so what is you talking about? So to me, I think we're kind of getting lost in the sauce, so to speak, because outside of the drinking, she's acting like the way she's playing this whole cooking thing is okay. And that was my thing. I'm like, wait, what? So he cooks the meal, everybody enjoys the meal, and after the meal,
Wait, time out for
Jared,
a second
okay.
before we even finish that. Hibachi. For me, hibachi is when I'm down to the place and the man is throwing the egg and throwing the onion and you catch it on your tongue and there's fire coming out the middle of the table. He ain't making me no hibachi.
I would call it stir fry, but okay, I guess it's hibachi. I'm not
Right.
clear what made it hibachi, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm like, this ain't Benihana. This ain't at least, some of the little Korean places where they had the little thing on the table where they cook the food. Like, this is a stir fry with rice, I'm guessing, although she was making noodles earlier, so that totally threw me off. But he said hibachi, and we'll call it hibachi. I think the rest of us will call it stir fry or maybe chicken teriyaki, but he wants to go with hibachi. So that's what he says he fixed for everyone.
Your ass would have been down here helping me cook. If it was really fire and
Right,
lightning.
exactly. Or even still, like, to me, he's absolutely right. Like, chopping up all those vegetables and stuff, I would have been like, okay, I'm prepping for the meal we do in 3 days from now because I need to take a break every so often. I'm tired after I chop the vegetables. So I think he has a good point, and I guess she was hungover, but even when in the beginning, when she was asking the people to put the noodles in the water and stuff, she was coming off lazy, to be honest.
It's the
And so,
and it's cooking for 14 people. Like, I come from a big family, right? So cooking for
yeah.
14, cooking for 20, cooking for 50, no problem. But if you're not what I now know is if you're not accustomed to doing that, that can be overwhelming.
And especially if you're cooking hibachi. Like, it's one thing to say, yeah, I'm going to cook a big pot of pasta. I'm going to cook a big pot of rice or whatever. But he's absolutely right. Do you know how many vegetables he had to chop up to get enough for all those people? Like, that is a lot. And to expect him to do that by himself, that's trifling. And then my biggest thing is, if you felt a little better, I don't know, do some yoga upstairs. But for you to be seen sitting at the pool and it's
Saying
for
you
other
were
people
overheating, and now
doing,
you're sitting in the
thank you,
sun.
sitting outside at the pool while everybody else is doing your work for you, girl, he should have been mad, and the other people helping him also should have been mad. Like,
Well, they was a
girl,
little put off, like, she out there.
right? Wait, what you mean, right? I thought she was still getting dressed. Wait, she out there kicking it. And then she even came into the kitchen like, well, what do you want from me? And if I was married, I would have packed my bag right then. Like, I want you to at least say you're sorry. You're trifling.
Hand on table, monologue.
Right, exactly.
Agents call me. But this is my
Exactly.
thing. He asked a valid question. Are you reliable? Can I count on you?
Right, because right now I would say that's a strong no. And to me, instead of saying, well, why would you say that? Well, he wants you to acknowledge that this is poor behavior, whatever the reason, whether you were hungover or not, for you to go out to the pool and not come in and say, okay, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning, or at least not come in and humble yourself and say you're sorry. Like, to me, for her to not say she was sorry in that moment, but to kind of get an attitude because he feels away for having to cook for 14 people. I'm like, girl, you all about you at this point, or you all about you being able to drink?
You all about the
something
Lulu.
crazy.
Because now that I think about it, she said she had a problem with her weight and her body. But when she met him, she was like, he wasn't as tall as I thought he would be. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to know. No. And I'm not saying you got to settle. I'm saying that both of y'all are facially appealing. And he liked the things about you the others wouldn't.
Exactly.
He said her smile is immaculate. She's a brace face. Right? Like, he's like, your smile's immaculate. He is visually, like, she's visually it for him.
Right. And I was like, so far, he has not given any issue with her except for the drinking. He's been very accepting, very like into her, and it doesn't appear so far to even be an act. And the fact that you would blow him off, you're constantly acting in a way that he's told you from really the first date, but I mean, he's had to come up to talk to you several times about this drinking issue. And then on the day that you say, I'm not going to drink today, and instead of drinking water and coffee and getting yourself together, you laying out, you're acting how alcoholics act, honestly. So you're getting an attitude, you're getting kind of stank, and he's not being unreasonable. And that's the thing, as we said before, that I have issue with, in that the guys are kind of understanding him and kind of, I think, advising him in a way that makes sense. And everybody else with her is like, oh, she's so sweet, I understand where she's coming from. But you understand that this is trifling and you're not saying anything
But they're
to
not
her.
necessarily saying that when the men are with them.
Right.
They're like, it was how she was overheating and it was hot outside and she outside in the hot.
Right. But to her, to Kiki, they're making it seem like, oh, we're team Kiki. And it's like, okay, if you all were remotely really a friend to her, you would have to keep it 100 and be like, whether you're hungover or not, you could apologize for not cooking with him. And especially if you're not cooking with him to go chill at the pool. Like, yeah, that's trifling. Yeah, so I was kind of like, Kiki, girl. Like I said, I was rooting for you in the beginning, girl. But you. And then I think she's told several people, like when I think her mom passed or whatever. She's told to me, the more she talks, the more she sounds like she has a problem. So it's like the more she tries to explain it, then she talks about all these times she's turning to alcohol. So it's like your explanations are actually, I mean, to be honest, making it worse.
You're substantiating the claim that you are indeed an alcoholic, a fun drunk. Any kind of drunk means that you have a problem, ma'am. Ma'am, you have a problem.
Exactly. And you're fun for you. Just because you're not fighting does not mean you're a fun drunk. Anytime you go out with somebody and they're passing out, whether it's a friendly pass out or a non-friendly pass out, the person with them is now a babysitter. And that is irritating if we all grown. Okay. And he's already told you twice. So come on. And then, so he makes it through dinner. And I think he asks how things are going. And she kind of rolls her eyes, which I'm kind of like, girl, how are you rolling your eyes at somebody? And you the one being trifling.
Okay, time out for psychology. Perhaps. Because she also said she has a problem when they were doing the painting. She has a problem with intimacy. Is it possible that she's pushing him away and self-sabotaging?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she probably is, to show her some grace. I will say she probably is nervous. She's probably, she's probably not comfortable with her body, all those things. And she is turning to alcohol to kind of make her be cool and make her be fun and make people like her and, maybe feel more relaxed even with him. So I will give her that. But after he's told you several times to not see that it's an issue and to kind of, instead of coming at it from, this is a crutch that I'm working through, you don't have to admit that you're an alcoholic or whatever, because I know that could be a lot, but she's coming at it like he's wrong. And she's not showing any sort of self-reflection on her own actions, like none.
We are in a post Kevin Samuels world, right? As soon as the men started getting microphones, they started having very strong opinions on what they should tolerate. He has spoken to her far too much for the manosphere. Right? Like,
for any sphere, for red pill, for pink pill, for any kind of pill you could take, he's already gone above and beyond, boo.
For him to come to you so many times, and most men, I don't know a lot of men who would have given her a second thing. I know all of my male friends would have been on the phone like, yo, let me run this by you. Shorty been drinking ever since we got here.
Thank you.
And then she passed out. They would have been like, I'll be like, yo, hit your hand on the table. Monologue.
I'm gonna have have to get a meme for that because yes, it's time for packing a bag and the
There
monologue
was a
because
point where
yes.
he hit his head on the table. I was like, "This is it. This is
Girl,
it."
I had that in the thumbnail when he's like, look, he put his hand out like, no, I'm not, I can't do this. Okay, so before we get to that point, though, Jared, which I'm not sure, this honestly seemed like the producers told him to do this because I'm like, why would your lying ass even suggest this dumb game?
I'm
That was
glad you
one thing I
say
don't
that.
know.
So we've already seen they did the far too soon body painting, the far too soon Karma Sutra. It's like they're force riping these situations.
Right.
These are not the like, you know what? The getting to know you questions. You don't start out like it's the Real Housewives of Atlanta with the shade pulling out the shadiest question first. No,
Thank you. How many threesomes have you done? Like what?
let's because why are you asking us already? As if some of us just got here and some of us could definitely say no. Give
Right.
it 4 nights in the house.
Yeah, give it a few nights. So Jared decides this game. At the end of the game, there are 4 no's. No, I should say there's 1 no, there's 1 hell nah, there's 1 F no, and there's 1
Question mark.
undecided or question mark. And then the others were yes.
Yeah.
And so then the next thing we see, let's see. Okay, so we're almost at the end of my little photos. So the next thing we see, I think do I have this next or not? Let me see. Right. So the next thing we see are, let me take them off. So we see the guys talking, and we find out that I think, although they didn't really talk about it too much, I think Chris is the one who said hell nah, I believe. Then Jared said F no. Then Brandon said no. And then they surmised.
So I didn't see I missed that clearly. Jared said F no?
Yes. Yes. And so right here, he leans in, and because everybody was like, "No, you lying, dude. You lying, dude. Why did you let that girl get your name tattooed? You lying, you lying." And he says to Chris, he said, 6 kids is too many kids. Do I look like Eddie Murphy? Why do I want to have this many kids in the house? And everybody's like, what? He's like, no, it's too many kids. And so then what's the other guy? Is his name Cinco? Cinco is like, but you've been cracking. You let her get tattooed. And he's like, no, I swear I haven't hit it. And so so this
she's
is
very fertile now. No.
Right. Now, okay. Now, oh wait, and I forgot. So I did skip something before we go back to this. Before we get back to this drama, we'll go back to the scene. I don't have a photo of that, but we'll go back. So after the dinner, they try to there's still another Brandon and Kiki moment where they try to sit them down. This is another time where I'm like, it's too many people doing too much. Because he's like, not only did he cook the dinner, he went in there and washed dishes. And her lazy
she was
ass,
wild for that. She was wild.
Her lazy ass is shooting pool. Like, girl, bye. And then gonna be like, oh, you hurt my feelings by saying no. Well, you hurt my feelings by having me washing dishes for 14 people and you out here shooting pool, boo. So he was kind of like, I don't want to talk about it. Cause he's tired, girl. He been cooking for hours and he just washed all those dishes and you're like chilling the whole time. And so they called him to the table and they called them to the table. So the group kind of already, he had just told her, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to go work out and chill or whatever. They called them both to the table. So I think so that she can understand why he's mad. And instead of really, to me, getting to like, girl, he done cooked dinner and washed dishes for 14 people and you ain't done nothing. And then she's like, well, I saw you right now. It hurt my feelings. And so then they go back to, well, he keeps harping on the drinking while she's drinking.
Yeah, he was like, that what she said, that's another indicator you're an alcoholic. He's like, you're still drinking. And she's like, but it's wine. Fam, wine is alcohol. There is alcohol. White Claw got alcohol in
And
it.
not even just that, it's like you don't realize that you looked him in the face earlier this same day to prove you weren't an alcoholic and said, I'm not going to drink today, and are now drinking. And you don't even recognize that you have gone back on your word to him just that day to show him. Really, it doesn't even matter whether it was, what it was. It's like if you said that you're not an alcoholic and this person thinks you have a drinking problem and you say to that person, I'm not going to drink today, and you still turn around and drink, then why would they not think you have a problem? Like what, and how are you sitting here with an attitude? And so I just don't even, her defensiveness about it just digs her hole deeper and deeper. And at that point, he does say, it's not quite a monologue, but he does say, if you don't love yourself enough, I can't love you, or whatever, and gets up and walks out. And that was the truth, because she's like, well, I don't want you, because everybody's like, well, he's saying these things because he cares, but that's the truth. If you don't care enough about yourself and your health to see that you have a problem, like, he ain't a therapist, like, he right, like, deuces, I'm gonna back off. Now I think back off means I'm gonna back off and go home. That's what I would do.
That's it. Monologue.
Right, exactly. Or in the comedian world, that's my time, good night. But that's what you need to do, dude. Be out of there. Brandon, there's plenty of big girls in the world that can cook and aren't falling out drunk. So you can find you somebody else.
Men often say that women don't hold each other accountable. And because I have a very harsh set of girlfriends, my tribe is women who be like, oh no, no, you messing up.
My friends would have been red meat through the roof.
Yes. And I'm not saying, you know what? I'm not saying that they have to be her friends, but when you're seeing something that you thinking, nah, this is off-putting. Girl, why you getting drunk around my man like this? Girl, me and my man supposed to be hugged up on the couch, and you got us in the kitchen cooking on your night? Are you going to cook on our night? You follow what I'm saying?
Exactly. And they know, and I have to go back. Well, I'm not going to go back to the episode, but in the very first episode, I don't know if it was Alicia, but it was a couple people who didn't want to drink right away. And she was the one who was like, oh, we popping bottles.
And then they show a scene of her saying, is there any Tito's in here?
Right, exactly. And they were looking at her crazy. Thank you. They were looking at her crazy from the beginning. And for them to now act like they don't think it's a problem, and they thought she was drinking too much from the day they met her. It's like, you all, that's the thing. Yeah, she needs a lifeline, a home to talk to people who actually care about her, because these women are totally, like, for whatever reason, she does seem to be a nice girl, and maybe she is, as she said, a nice drunk, but they know that she's tripping, and they, instead of them just being honest with her, I mean, like, well, you could pull back a little bit. This is, we don't really know each other. There are things they could say in a kind way to kind of like check her a little bit. And they're encouraging her, like, I totally understand why you're upset. Girl, she has not lifted a finger all night. And this boy has been out here cooking and cleaning. So no, I don't see why she's so upset. I don't see why she has attitude.
This is an example of what the men are often saying about a lack of because the men are holding him accountable. The men are like, well, the men are holding each other accountable.
Yeah.
Even I missed that very last scene of the, like, Jared, we gotta go in. You gotta tell me about this, because what?
Yes. So we will get to that. And then, okay, so before we do Jared, I guess I will go to before we get to Jared, so I'll come back to Jared. We will talk quickly about, so I'll come back to Jared's trifling crazy, but before we come back to Jared, let's talk about, oh wait, no. Do I not have a photo of it? Let me see. I thought I had a photo in here. Okay, so the photo, I did take one, but I'm missing, is Ty and Brittany getting the massage.
I did not see that either. How much of this episode did I see?
So you
was trying to watch it while I was working.
Oh, no
So
worries. Okay, so you missed like those were like the last 5 or so minutes. So Ty and Brittany go to their massage, and it's kind of sensual or whatever, and they get on the table. And so here's where we finally see what's some of their issues is Ty is like, oh, I tried to do this with Brittany, but she wouldn't let me. See how you do me? See how you do me? And he kind of was missing the mark on the romance of the moment. And so she says in her confessional, like, I don't know why Ty can't be serious. He's always and he is always kind of constantly cracking jokes. And she's sort of at this point turned off by it. So that's the only thing that really happens
when
in
you're
that
doing
scene.
that, when you're doing the cracking joke thing, it is to have people. What's the Kansas City Shuffle? I forget what movie that was, but you got me looking over here when I should be looking over there.
Right.
Be for real, so that we can get past whatever is awkward about the real, and we can see if we can move on from it or not. And
Yeah, and I think
yeah,
some of it, maybe it's coming from nervousness or whatever, but it's kind of like it's giving me sort of the same vibe that Chris was giving. Like it's a little over the top. It's a little like Clay. You're kind of performing for the cameras or for what for whoever. And I always like last season to some extent, I like the older couple, so I want them to win, but you need to be authentic. And so we'll see where it goes. The only real issue that because we haven't seen a lot of airtime between them, but in that one scene, she kind of brings up, I need him to be serious so we can see where this is going. And to me, I feel like with the massage, like just enjoy the massage. You don't have to say nothing, but to keep cracking jokes is not what you need to be saying. Now's your chance to really kind of schmooze the romance now that you're getting this kind of sexual thing that
and if you are gonna make a joke, it's like, hey, can you show me how to do this? Because one day she gonna let me massage her, and I want to get it
right.
right.
Right. And do something kind of more smooth and not corny. Okay. So that's kind of where, that's what happened with them. So in this scene, so we'll go back to here. So in
Because
this
of this
scene,
scene, right? When they're at the table, they're like, well, dang, it's 8 couples and 4. And somebody
right.
said
So in this
it might not
scene,
be a couple.
yeah, right. Cinco said that, the guy with the like locks or whatever. The guy who I think so far is the only person who's actually smashed so far.
Right.
So then when the guys are talking, so they kind of analyze that 4 of the 7 men said no. So they said that there's a hell nah, an F nah, a no, there's an undecided, I think, a question mark or something.
Mhm.
And so what's her name?
Kiki did
Kiki
the
did the
question
question
mark.
mark. I don't know if we have.
We know that Brandon did the no with the
We know that
squigglies.
Brandon did the no, the capital N no. Jared says I did the F no. Chris says I did the hell nah, and they surmise that Irvin is sort of the other no or undecided or whatever. And so what's interesting is when Jared says I did the F not, everybody's like, no way, that's cap, this is, and he's like, no, I did. He says, too many kids. Do I look like Eddie Murphy? I can't, it's 6 kids in a house. He kind of starts cracking on it, like I would never do that. Like he goes in hard, and that's when I will say Cinco does say, how you gonna let that girl get your name tattooed on her, knowing that you gonna say no, and you're smashing. And he says, I haven't smashed, hand to God, I haven't smashed.
Which I don't believe. I don't believe it, but I believe he would say that because he looking
Well, well this
where
is
he thought he would get applause. He got
no. So this is the only reason why I believe him. So, or I kind of believe him. And I don't know if it's because of how they cut the scene. So he says, I haven't smashed. So then he says into the camera, whether we end up being together or not, I feel like if I'm patient and kind of honorable or whatever, basically he basically said like, but I've been waiting a long time, I want to smash. That's pretty much what he says. And so it's like, ew, like what? And so then he says, so then to make it even worse, and this is the problem again, I go back to having all these people in the house. So he done told all the men, I said, F no, she got too many kids. I'm not interested. Like, we're not gonna be together.
Ringo gonna tell Jay because they close like that.
Right. So then on top of that, so when he goes back into the kitchen, and he sees Charlie, he's like, well, what did you say? What did you write? What did you write? And I think she was the person who wrote hell yes. Because he was like, did you write yes? And she was like, no. He's like, what did you write? She's like, hell yes. And she asked him point blank, what did you write? And he lies and says, I wrote yes. We're good. And you see Chris walking by, like rolling his eyes, like this lion ass ninja. And I'm just like, what? This is so disgusting. And so
Let me tell you a couple of ways this is gonna come up. Jay and Cinco are close, so he gonna be like, "Yo, you could believe that?" That's one. Two, he's coming across as the most mature, the only thing he had to get out the way was this, that, and the third, and now that's out the way. So now he's showing up as the kind of man that someone. So when the rest of the women are looking over, like, how come you can't be more like Jared?
You can't do
the
this.
dude's
You can't
gonna
do
be
that.
like,
thank you.
Jared?
They're gonna be dropping a dime on him every week. And then on top of that, though, once you see this scene, you can't help but go back to the very first photo of them sitting there and him saying he's gonna see what colleges out
Right.
there. Like all of that was a lie. Like, dude, oh, it's so disgusting. And
Well, let's
to
take
me,
a step back. I own my house. And when I date other people or when I date men, you ain't staying over here. Scoot, scoot, and be gone. And no, I don't need any help with this mortgage. I got it. Because scoot, scoot. So when she was like, yeah, and I got 6 bedrooms, in my head, I was like,
what
kind of man is not going to be like, well, we need to get something with 8 bedrooms?
We need to get something together where my name is also on the deed. Like I'm not moving up into your house. Right. And he just was like, oh, I've seen photos and da da da. So all of that was just point blank acting. And I'm kind of like, now you're just coming off as a sleazeball. Like, why are you doing all this just to smash? Like, they don't have zebras in Columbia, South Carolina. I feel like he's halfway enthralled because, I hate to be like colorist or whatever, but I think it's halfway because she looks like a white girl. Because I was like, what?
Well, where's she from?
I forgot where she is, but remember when they did the painting, he painted her as a zebra because one parent was black and one parent is white, and people didn't really think she was black and she's my black queen or whatever. So that kind of that whole little body painting scene actually had me giving him the side eye to begin with. But this point, and to me, it's like he does say, the only grace I will show him is he does say whether we end up together or not, but you're coming off as a total sleazeball and disgusting. Because it's like, really, if you really feel like it's too many kids, then why embarrass her? Why embarrass her in front of all those guys? Why play her like this just to smash? Like,
and you're not drunk.
Not drunk at all. Not drunk at all. All of this was sober talking. And the way he kind of was cutting jokes about it, like it was so funny. Am I Eddie Murphy? I don't want a house of da 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 da. And it's like, you ain't having, I think maybe when they first had to sit down, he made that comment. But if that's how you really feel, be man enough to show that to her face. And if she still smashes you, then fine. But to pretend, oh, I'm gonna move in with you, and you have enough room for me and my 2 kids, then
well,
that
let's take
part.
A step back. Is it possible that that's what he was doing for the woman back home? You know how Martel told Ariane, that's just for the TV. You know what I'm saying? That's just for TV. Maybe that was for the people at home to be like, well, I was just on the show.
Right. Right, right. It was just for exposure. The producers told me to do this. So we'll see. When they showed clips from the next episode or the episodes coming up, they did show them finally going into the boom boom room. So I think eventually, I think he is gonna get it like he plans. They showed Clay and Tatiana kind of getting into it. And so I guess she kind of revealed it, or I don't know if he revealed or not, but they were getting into it. Those are the only two things I really
I
remember
just
of the
need
previews.
the fact that Clay ain't said nothing about having the same kind of awkwardness is ridiculous. He should not have left that table without saying something.
Yeah, so I don't know how he's gonna pull that out of a hat. And also very much like Jared, it's giving you two are a liar. So Tatiana, girl, you cute. You got a booming body. Girl, you can
Find
find
you another vegan.
thank you. You can find another Pillsbury Doughboy to do you right. So you can move forward.
So this is way better than season 1.
Yeah. Yeah, because people have some interesting storylines that appear to be. There's a few that are on the cusp of reality, but most of these appear to be genuine things that you would expect from someone you met online. So, that you don't really have references for, that you don't really have. You can't really ask your girlfriend whose cousin or whatever knows his cousin. Like in this, so you don't really have any basis, but what that person has told you or sold you. So I think that they are kind of delving into some interesting issues, and I'm liking, and it's just more engaging, I think.
1 is more engaging, and 2, I think season 1, within the first 2 episodes, we knew they were playing in our face. And that has been my biggest issue with OWN, and why I kind of pushed away from even wanting to do commentary on the content, because we're ready to. I'm tired of people playing in my face. Don't sell
Yeah.
me one thing and present to me another.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
I
on
agree.
top of that, come back on the back end and be like, it was fake.
Yeah, and especially with Never Ever Met's last season, it was like every couple came back, and I think with people being so open on social media, and I don't know what their contracts are, because it feels like they were talking, like they were just doing a lot of talking in real time that kind of made the show like pointless to really watch. So this season, I think there is something going on with Alexis and Chris, so maybe I'll do some more deep dive before next week. But everybody else, I haven't really heard that much on, on socials, at least so far. I haven't. But
I'm also not looking, and maybe
I
I
haven't been
like it
looking
that
either. So if if people want to burst our bubble, then do so in the comments. But because even with Love and Marriage Detroit, and kind of with Love and Marriage, that those franchises, the way they're sort of breaking up the seasons, and so there's more happening on social media than there's really happening on the show. It kind of throws off the vibe of the show, and certainly the vibe of doing commentary on the show, because you know more from social media than you do from what's happening on the episode. So it's kind of like, I mean,
That's why I can appreciate when shows don't happen in New York.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything like hip hop related or Black culture related, and it's in New York or even in hip hop, I'm not even 6 degrees separated from some of these people, so I know too much, and then it's unenjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And that's the thing. Like, I get that reality is more and more scripted, but we do want the people to be, we want it at least stemming from some sort of
Like, if you want to
authenticity.
write something good.
Yeah. Or at least have it come from the real. And then maybe, you have to rework the scene, but you did have an argument about this or whatever. Like,
You know
we
what?
try to
Like
cut you some slack,
Seinfeld.
but
Let's
yeah.
do improv. That's what reality TV should be. Improv. this is the scene and go.
Exactly, exactly. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, this is not giving real at all. But yeah, so in this scene, I mean, in this episode, I pretty much was done with Kiki and her drinking by the end of the episode. Jared has totally disgusted me, but maybe by next episode they'll redeem themselves. I'm hoping for them. I'm
Who's your
rooting for
favorite
them.
thus far?
Um, let's see. I like Brandon. Like Brandon seems authentic. He doesn't seem, although I do feel like for Brandon and Kiki to not have met for 4.5 years or whatever, it's not just because Kiki's was uncomfortable with her weight. So I think there may be something that Brandon is hiding because there's always a reason why the people don't
I
meet.
feel like Brandon was initially hiding a couple of inches. Like I think he
Yeah,
said he
yeah,
was
but I
like
think it has to be more than just she's short, I would think. But so there may be something there, but I don't know if we'll ever get to it because she has her drinking problem. So I like Brandon. I don't think I know enough about Cinco and Jay. Like I haven't seen enough other than the fact that they smashed.
I
Because
feel
I
like
think
they're young also. They gotta be like
yeah. And then their date was kind of like, oh, him shooting hoops. That was kind of like, is that a date? Like,
he was like shooting hoops, my feet are big. What's up with this back?
right, exactly. Let's go take a shower together and have pizzas. I don't know about them. So I need to see them more. I would like to root for Ty and Brittany. Because I like the dynamic of the older couple in the house, and kind of that is one of the things I do like, that they bring something. So if he can kind of chill out with the corny jokes, I think I would like them. Alexis and Chris, I'm not feeling at all because I feel like they're definitely acting. And so as I find out, those are the only two I think that are actually putting stuff out on social media. So I will see if I have time, I'll try to find out some of it, but probably not.
Listen, if Ready to Love is involved, I'm not interested. If it
I know, right? It's like,
like
okay.
I'm not a if he was on, I would prefer to just see him. Although he looks very ready for love familiar, I want to forget all of that because I feel like that show in and of itself is what that's where I was most disappointed with the promise of black love, and you're making a mockery.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then who else? Let's see. Okay, so Arvin and what's the guy's name?
Alicia,
Alicia, right.
I like
So
Irvin,
I
but
like Irvin. Like some of the couples, I like certain people, but I don't like the partner. So Irvin, I like. Alicia, it's like, okay, it's time for them to go home, even though I like Irvin. Brandon, I like, but Kiki, maybe you can get it together, but she seems to have some really deep
I don't like
issues.
Charlie or Jared now. Like
Yeah, I still don't get like,
y'all both
you
full
know,
of go home.
yeah, I don't know
Go home and
why.
tend to y'all babies. Take care of
Exactly.
y'all babies.
Exactly. So Jared, I'm just like, Jared, you disgust me. I don't want him to necessarily play Charlie, but Charlie, girl, you still haven't explained why you lied about your middle kids. I'm still confused on that. Like, anyway, so Charlie, so yeah, so
And
I'm
did
not too
y'all
much.
really go to school? The town don't talk. Where y'all from? New York?
I know, right? Um, and then let's see who else. Let's see, who are we missing? Who else? So Kiki, Brittany. Let me see. There's somebody. Oh, and then Tatiana. Like I like Tatiana, but I don't like the other guy still lying about a kid. And he does seem like he's overselling how interested he is in
Yeah,
her.
for
Like she
me,
is cute and sexy and stuff, but you're over pushing it. And the fact that you would, instead of telling the truth, you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to say I love you. And then later at dinner, they're like, are you in love? And he's like, hey, hey, hey. I was like, oh, he's doing it for the cameras. So I'm not a fan of his, but I do like her. She seems pretty cool. Yeah, Tatiana, I like. Pillsbury Doughboy, I don't like.
again, you're not fine enough for any of the shenanigans.
Thank you
If
for
you're not
any
gonna
of
be
it.
fine, just show up. And with Cinco, he could show up however he want because he's 6'5". When you 6'5",
Yeah, and so I actually like Cinco and Jay for the most part. I just don't feel like we've seen enough of them. So I don't really know enough. But yeah, so I think for the other couples, it's more like I like one person and not the next. So All right. Well, my dear, before we get out of here, wait, hold on. Let me take them off. Let's just hold on. Let me get rid of them right quick. Um, there we go. So before we, why do I still have people showing? Let's see. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Okay. So before we get out of here, tell us about your channel, what you got going
Well,
on, all the good things.
I just pulled up because I would like to start vlogging again. I have not done it. It feels like 2 years. I want to, I want to get back into my studio and plug in my microphone because you see, I'm not using one and go from there. But, hopefully this will get me started.
Yay. And I too am, it's a new year, a new exactly Erica. So I'm trying to be more consistent. So please, for both of our channels, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will be back next week with the next episode of Never Ever Mets.
And we should probably do Real Housewives of Atlanta because they've been interesting.
Yes, because that actually has a lot going on. And I did watch Kenya's sort of explanations. So we will be back on that to talk about that. And hopefully Maud will join us. I'll put that out there in the ethers. So hopefully it will come back and the ancestors will bring her back to our panel. But all right, you guys, ciao for now and have a good night.
Bye.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.